Well, hello everyone and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm, where I try and figure out how to live sustainably on 300 square metres in the city. Well, today I'm going to show you my garden. Yes, you've probably seen in the news, it's been in the news around the world, we have had the most ridiculously wet January ever, and we have had an extreme rain event which saw over half a metre of rain dropped on Auckland in 24 hours. And beyond that, it's been incredibly wet January. I actually put a graph on the screen somewhere just to show you the amount of rain and a few numbers. The blue bars you'll see are the normal rainfall that we get throughout the year. And if you look right at the top of the graph, above January, you'll see a little blob, and that's the amount of rain we have had this January. And a really large proportion of that was dumped in one event. But it has been very, very wet. In fact, we've stopped calling it summer altogether. We're actually calling it the warm winter, because it's just like winter. It just keeps raining and it keeps blowing a gale, but still warm. It's not as hot as normal, but it is still warm. So, and humid, very humid, which again is not great for the vegetables because they've got very soggy feet, and then it's really humid air. So I'm going to show you around the garden, and essentially what I'm showing you is all of the diseases I have. Because I think everything in the garden has something. Although I have to say, like, still upbeat, I am still harvesting food from the garden every day. We still haven't bought any vegetables, so that's great. I'm still putting stuff in the freezer, so we might not have quite as much going in there as we normally would, but still, yeah, I am harvesting stuff for the freezer, so it's not all bad. And I'm really letting the vegetables and the plants just get on with it. That is essentially the way I work this garden. I rely on nature to do its thing. I don't spray, I don't dig. If something goes a bit wrong, I let it go. It's over to you, do what you want. Some things die and don't do well. Some things romp away and do really well. I just basically reap the benefits of whatever is going strong. And the secret is just to put in lots of different things, lots and lots and lots. Just keep planting lots of different things, and some things will be good and some things won't. So there's always a win somewhere. So we are actually still in a state of emergency, an official state of emergency. So after the first lot came through, and there wasn't much said about it beforehand. Maybe I just didn't see it on the news, but all this rain, huge amounts of rain, turned up, flooding everywhere, and so we're in a state of emergency. And we're still in a state of emergency because we've got a cyclone coming through the beginning of next week. So that's going to be fun, yay. That's like lots of rain and high winds. So, yeah. Fun and games. Summer 2023. Yes, what a laugh. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at the state of the garden now, because who knows, next week I might not have a garden at all. It might have blown away completely. Come on, let's go have a look. Okay, so starting up at the gate, the poor old fig tree is just dropping all its leaves. The only thing I can think of is it just really doesn't like this much water. So yeah, it's still summer. I mean, we're only just entering the third month, and all the leaves are dropping off. So there you go. But anyway, the plants below have got a little bit more light now, and I'm really pleased that I've got an echinopsis coming. It's a lovely word, isn't it? Echinopsis. I grew that from seed, and I popped it in that spot, and it was just hammered by the snails, and I thought, oh, it's going to die, but it's pulled through, and I have high hopes of some echinopsis. So that'll be exciting. Well, yes, most of the apples got blown off in the wind that we've had. There's a couple. So we've got one down there that you can see. There's a couple over there. But pretty much all the rest, yeah, just been blown off. So that's that. The pot down here, actually the only thing that is doing reasonably well is the lavender that I put in. It's dry down there. It's a dry bed. I mean, obviously we've had a lot of rain, but it does seem to be okay. And I've put a few bits and pieces in that pot. So high hopes that's going to look smart when it gets going. Again, I think we've just got the one apple. Oh no, there's two maybe. 2 apples there on that espalier. The pears don't seem to be showing at all. We don't seem to have had any fruit on those yet. So maybe high hopes for next year. And then looking into the kitchen garden, you can see we've got, those are our rumbacante, or I think they're also called tromboncinos. So we've let that one we missed, and it got so big that we thought, oh, well, it'll just have to stay. And then those two, sorry about the noise, I'm doing it later in the day, and those are all the cars driving back from the train station. So anyway, so those two probably need to be harvested. We made a lovely tromboncino soup at the weekend. I say we, royal we. The husband made a lovely soup. And I ate it. So those can get chopped up and put in the freezer, I think, for later soups. The beans, oh my God, so sad. They all have terrible rust. They've got the odd bean on them, but oh, I'll show you when I get a closer up of those. The courgettes, oh, somebody left a comment that they wanted to see how I grew them up the posts. So you can see there, they're growing up the posts, and then I tie them with a big sort of stretchy bit of old t-shirt, that is. And then these waratahs that we call them, they have holes in them. Can you see the holes? And so basically I put the tie through a hole and through the plant, and it just sort of grows up. And as it grows up, I take the lower leaves off. And that makes them much healthier. And generally, they are pumping away with courgettes, but they've not liked it. They've not liked the wind. They've not liked the cooler weathers we've been having. And they've not liked, well, they should have liked the rain, but I don't know. They're not happy. And we've had 3 courgettes. Off those 2 courgette plants, would you believe? And we've had 3 courgettes. All the other ones, and you can see it's doing it there too. You see that one there? It's basically going yellow and falling off, and it's not through lack of water. It is perhaps lack of pollinators, because they've had a really hard job to pollinate in all this rain that we've had, and the wind has been huge. This bed is all sorts of bits and pieces. This tomato, I need to touch some wood really, but that one is doing reasonably well. So yeah, it's setting some fruit, so hopefully we'll get some tomatoes off that. The aubergines aren't really coming to much. What can I say? Yeah, the asparagus have gone nuts. They love all this water, and there's so many new ferns coming through, but of course it's too late now. We don't eat them now, so they're just basically going mad, and we've got lots of ferns. So that's nice for the asparagus, but we can't eat them. So anyway, these aubergines, these are the ones that were from the indoor garden. They're looking a little better, but they're flowering, but no fruit. So I presume, again, lack of pollinators, maybe. The edamame are coming up, and what you can see, I'm going to try and show, I'm getting little beans. So these little beans, now I've never grown the edamame before, so I don't know if that's the right size. So if you do know if that's the right size, let me know in the comments, because I'm wondering whether to harvest them. Apparently you pull them up, harvest them, and eat the beans. Yeah, I had a few more coming up as well, but you know, not looking happy. Not happy, Pam. So yeah. What can I say? It's yes, I think a 1 in 250 year event we've had, and this is what we get, I suppose. The tomatoes there, I don't know if you can see, there are 3 of them looking very sad and hanging on. That one in the corner died outright, so I've had those out. I did do a bit of clearing up, so I've taken a lot of the yellow leaves off the bottom of things. Are you ready for it? This is the tomato bed. So where there are strings floating free, they've just died. They didn't survive. That one there, I think is dead, but it's got green stuff at the top, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. These ones over here are looking a bit better, and we do have fruit on them. I mean, we do have a reasonable amount of fruit, but what I'm doing is actually pulling the fruit off and ripening it indoors, because it's just not ripening very quickly outside. And they're just going to split with the next lot of rain. So yeah, we've got sad. I've actually stopped pruning them. I am just letting you see this here. Maybe you can see this here. This here is a lateral, and actually the laterals look happier than the actual plants. So I've actually stopped pruning them. I've just gone, look, you go for it. Do what you need to do, and I've left them with it really. Yeah. So it's all chaos. It's chaos. Oh yes, and I should point out my leeks. I have very, very bad aphids all over the leeks. All over the leeks. But again, oh, and some rust. There you go, look, some rust as well. Leaving them to it. The basil's been doing okay. I've had a few harvests. I harvested a whole lot the other day, and I minced it all up with a bit of olive oil and put it in the freezer. We do have peppers coming. You can see one down there, there's one down there, there's another one over there. So we've got some peppers coming in the garden. I do have peppers in the indoor garden as well, and we've harvested those. They've changed colour, and we've harvested those, and there's new peppers coming on that, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know if you see my leeks. They've sort of fallen over. Oh yeah. Oh look, another pepper there. I'm leaving them well alone. The carrots seem fine, but we'll see. Anyway, try not to bang your head. To go past these rambuncti, I must harvest them, because I keep banging my head on them. Right, close up of the sad beans. Do we even call those beans? I think we do. Weirdly enough, they are making beans. So we do have beans sort of coming, but they are the saddest looking things. Look, that bean's got rust. Ugh. Anyway, we are eating beans. Yeah. The pumpkin bed, well, that's just a life on its own really. It's its own force. There's a pumpkin there. There's another one up in the top, which you'll see from the other side better actually. Cucumbers. I mean, we had cucumber after cucumber after cucumber, but they've slowed down too. So I've got another cucumber over there. That one didn't do as well. Again, rust, looking a bit unhappy. Beans, rust, but still producing beans. I hope you can hear me without this wind. Look at those sad rusty beans. Usually our beans do so well. I mean, I just can't keep up with them going in the freezer. I mean, we do have some new beans coming, but yeah. Okay, that's the beans. And this, oh, sorry for spinning you around. This is the gigantis beans. So this bed's a bit mad. Yeah, absolute chaos. These are the gigantis beans. So these ones are really big, gnarly. Let me show you. Really big, gnarly critters like this. And you open them up and they have beautiful, big white beans in. So as they've been going yellow, I have been harvesting those as I can get to them for the freezer, because I freeze them sort of demi-sec so that I don't have to soak them to use them. And you can see we've got new flowers coming, so maybe more of those, but yeah, they've got rust now. So, oh, and here we go. Look, there's my other pumpkin. Can you see it? It's stuck up there. All my pumpkins seem to be in very strange places this year. I don't know why. And we do have some powdery mildew. Do you want to see what powdery mildew looks like? There you go. You see, look, powdery mildew. Have I not shown you any of my diseases yet? I'm sure I can find another one. Yeah, I've got a pumpkin down there. Can you see that pumpkin? Down there. And then there's a butternut. The butternut peeking out there, but this is the biggest one I've found. Look at that. Don't know if you can see how big that is. It's quite large. Hopefully it's not going to get stuck in that fence. Anyway, that is a Maria de Chogia, and Chioggia, I think it's pronounced. Anyway, so that one is quite, there's a few of those and they're quite rampant. I've got down there, you probably can't see it, I have to point it out. That there, well, you probably can't see it, there. That is an amaranth that I put in, and then they got, well, I got put in a few and they got eaten by the slugs, and I thought, oh, they're dead. And then the pumpkins headed off, and then I thought, well, they'll never get through that. But yeah, look, pumpkins have died off a bit because of the powdery mildew, you see, it kills off the leaves a bit, you see, like that. And so there's a bit of light, and through it has come. I've got a cosmos there, nasturtium, and some amaranth, so that's quite exciting. And a little bit there of perpetual spinach, which is quite cool. Oh, and I have tomatoes in here too. There, I think you spotted a tomato before probably, and I missed it. So we've got tomatoes, a couple of tomatoes coming. There's 2 tomatoes going up the side of those canes, and these are beans down the front. These are, what are they called? Borlotti beans. They're bush borlotti beans. I've harvested some of those already. And there are some more coming on this side. So I've harvested on this side because that plant looks very sad and its beans were finished, and this one down here was pretty finished, so I haven't taken them out. I've left the plants in, but I've harvested the beans. Oh, and have you seen my melons? Melons do not like half a metre of rain falling on them. No, not happy, Stan. No. So those, I think, are perhaps dead. Anyway, I'm leaving everything in and I'm just letting it get on with it. But hey, this next weekend will probably take out a few more things. I've got some new beans coming in here, direct sown beans, and some onions, which, yeah, I mean, they may have stopped now. They look like they've fallen over. They're probably just titchy onions. Even the rhubarb in the corner's unhappy. Look at those yellow leaves on the rhubarb. I thought rhubarb liked lots of water. Oh well. Yup. Cavolo Nero, still romping away. They've got some yellow leaves at the bottom, but still romping away. A little bit of whitefly, but yeah, we just wash it off. Still edible, so that's good. These are the Trail of Tears beans. I don't know if you can see, I might have to show you from the other side. There's lots and lots of beans on there. And still got rust, but not as badly as the other beans. So those beans, Trail of Tears, are both eating French beans, and also you can leave them for the beans inside to pod later on. So we'll leave some of the bigger ones. They go purple like that, and then you can harvest them for the beans. And then when they're smaller, when they're little young, these are all getting rather large now, to be honest, because we're a bit beaned out of these ones. But as you can see, when they're smaller, they're green and they're quite tasty. So those are the beans that we're eating at the moment, and they have pretty purple flowers, so that's rather cool. But these tomatoes are definitely my best tomatoes. These are Elsa Craig. They're my late sowing tomato. The ones that went in really late, and they're holding their own much better than any other tomato. So yeah. So the early sown, they're mostly dead. The ones in the marquee, some of them are dead and some of them are doing okay, but these ones are doing the best. A few yellow leaves at the bottom, but not too much. Corn is not very tall. Strange. I don't know why it's not very tall this year, but it isn't. And it's obviously decided to do its little tassely pollinatory thing. Just the one at the minute, but anyway, so they're all, yeah, they seem to be okay, don't they? Any diseases on those? Bound to have something. Can't spot anything at the minute, so fingers crossed for those. What have we got down here? Oh yes, that's a melon, unhappy melon, and a sweet pea that got blown over and's on the ground. There we go. Oh, and again, another aubergine. Growing, flowering, no aubergines, slightly yellow leaves. So if we come up on to Park Square, you can see that the pumpkins have basically broken free. They're coming through onto the woodpile now, and I'm letting them go because really it's been so wet. We're not doing any sort of building at the moment because every weekend it's wet. I have this pot. This is the tomatoes. You remember the early tomatoes in the pots? Well, yeah, they are fruiting. So we have more. They've got a few yellow leaves. Not brilliantly happy, but maybe because it's in a pot, it's a little happier because it isn't soaked. The other thing is the bananas. The bananas are still going. You see? They're still going. I thought they'd gone a bit soggy at the bottom, but I don't know. Looks like bananas to me. I could be wrong. I don't know what bananas do, so they're doing that. I'm hoping it's right. The elderberry, I don't know if you can see, it broke. We had a lot of branches that snapped off in the wind, and so lost quite a bit of fruit. I have harvested the majority of it, but there are a couple of bunches still need to go, and so they're just covered to stop the birds eating them. The plums are finished now, so I need to get in there and prune that. I did prune it back a bit because again we had a few things breaking, so you can see on the corners now we've got this new growth, and that's because I had to trim off some of the branches because it all just got too much. We are harvesting passion fruit now. You can see one through there hopefully. I'm not harvesting them as in finding them. My technique is actually to wait till they drop off on the floor. It's easier to get them off the ground than it is to find them in there and pluck them off the plant. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But they're coming through, yeah, about one a day, and it's really yum. Oh, this is my experiment. They probably won't come to anything. It's probably too late in the year, but I had that bag of soil, and so I just put some old out-of-date pumpkin seeds in there. And yeah, well, they're doing a thing, so I've left them to it. Those are the sweet potato stroke kumara. They're supposed to go in the kumara planter, but of course, as you know, we haven't finished the kumara planter, so they're still in the bucket. Whether we're going to get any kumara, I don't know, but that's where they are. I've got an extra raspberry off a friend, so that's sitting in a bucket waiting to be planted. And then those are the yams. So yeah, they seem to be okay as well. Anything in buckets seem to be okay. I've got some rogue potatoes there. I've left them to it. If I get potatoes, that'll be nice. But technically those tubs shouldn't have potatoes in them at the moment. So anyway, that one has. The herbs over here, they are going mad. I need to get out and prune them really. They've just gone rampant. But yeah, it's not a priority, so they're a bit out of control, but there you go. The blueberries, I had them covered for ages. We had a few blueberries on them, but the blueberries just don't seem to be going ripe, so I've taken the cover off, and I think I've read that they need sunshine, and we don't have any of that at the moment, so yeah, no, nothing there. Hello girly girls. Hi. Hello. What you doing? What you doing? Nothing? Just pecking. Daft girls. Okay, so what have we got down here? Well, of course, we've got a lot of pumpkins that are breaking free. The grape has got all the way to here. Look, it's right there. So pretty much it's finished its run. I'm going to have to stop it soon because you can see the two grapes. I don't know if you can see there. Two grapes meeting in the middle, and that will be that run complete. So that's pretty exciting. The nectarine, not happy. Yellow leaves, don't like it. Thank you very much. No. I've lost I should show you some very unhappy, excuse me squizzling you around, very unhappy lavender there. All too wet. So I think probably dead, but we will see. I've lost a rosemary there. I had one rosemary on one side and on the other side, and that's died. Maybe too wet, I don't know. And And the pumpkins. It's running for freedom, making a break for it. So the pumpkins all the way here and trying to get up the post. And I do seem to have a kumara in the strawberry planter. So there were kumara in there last year and I obviously missed a bit. They got stuck in the holes at the bottom. When I pulled it out, I think one broke off. So that's possibly a kumara in there. Strawberries have finished. They were okay, but they didn't really like that much water, really. Nothing does. So Citrus Grove, I have got plenty of fruit on the tangerine. Look, lots of fruit on the tangerine, which is really nice. Nothing on the orange and nothing on the lime tree. So that's that. And then down the side, the blackberries are coming. The Chilean guava is growing. Quite happy there, I think. And again, the camellia, I think, oh, fly. The camellia, I think, is happy there too, so that's good news. I don't think Jacqueline is happy. She's not happy there. I think I'm going to move her. When we get to the winter, I'm going to cut her back and move her. I don't think she's happy there, and she's getting overshadowed by the orange tree, which is growing madly out this way for some reason. So there we go. The pond, oops, sorry for moving you around. The pond flowers are flowering. It's got lots of water in it. The fish, I think, are pretty happy. And down at the berries, the raspberries have finished now. So, well, they are autumn fruiting raspberries, but I left some canes up, and then they fruited early in the summer, which was great. And now the actual autumn fruiting branches, stalks, what are they? Yes, you know, the growth, the canes that come out of the ground for the autumn fruiting, they're now starting to flower. So we should get some autumn raspberries, which would be really lovely. All we need is the rain to stop so the pollinators can get out, and then we'll have some raspberries. Oh, hang on a minute. I think down there we have raspberries. Yay! Oh, I must tie those up actually. And then blackberries. I don't know if you can see actually, it's difficult to see in here, but we have lots of blackberries. There are lots and lots of blackberries. So I have them all covered because otherwise the birds just eat them. So going down the back, that's my cutting, my hydrangea cutting. That seems happier. That seems quite happy, doesn't it? And the viburnum's getting a bit overshadowed, but yeah, still alive. Good, good. Okay, well that's it. I think that's it. That's my soggy garden. Soggy, soggy, soggy.